sometimes when entrepreneurs who are more established, when they give their story, they don't always talk from the angle of where they started from. They talk from the angle of where they are.
Yeah.
And because of that, it gives a lot of misconception to people who are listening to them. So you don't know, somebody will just come and say, no, me, I don't look for opportunities. Opportunities is always looking for me. But he will not tell you how he started before opportunity started looking for him.
Hello, everyone, and good to have you on another episode of our Story of the Enterprise podcast. And this podcast is dedicated to taking the stories of men and women who have started on the journey of entrepreneurship with special focus on the interns of the Feasible Internship Program, but also for the public and every other person who may interact with our content. We like to hear their stories, we like to know what they did, how did they start, what milestones they have made in the course of their journey as entrepreneurs. What lessons we can learn from them, and I promise it's going to be a very powerful session today. This actually happens to be our first episode on this series, and I'm just going to quickly introduce to you our guest today. My guest today is a professional, and he has been on the journey for a while. I'm going to be introducing him to us. He's a seasoned project manager, a brand strategist, and a social impact leader with extensive experience spanning construction, education, human development, and technology driven enterprises. And with over half a decade of hands on project leadership across diverse industries, he has successfully led, coordinated, and delivered high impact projects using both agile and waterfall methodologies. I mean, if you're familiar with the project management world, those are terminologies that you should have had. He currently serves as a project manager at Custom Construct Limited, a data-driven furniture and construction firm where he applies structured project management frameworks to optimize operations, improve delivery timelines, and drive sustainable business growth. His professional toolkit, talking about proficiencies that he has, includes Jira, Conference, Microsoft Project, Asana, and many more. I mean, if you are tech savvy, you will have encountered some of these platforms and softwares. But beyond corporate project execution, Mr. Gabriel is deeply committed. He's committed to human capital development. He has coordinated large scale vocational and apprenticeships program. And these are things that involve training of young people and the workforce, preparing them for the world of work. And there are a couple of projects like that. And I have a lot of other things about him I can say, but allow us to meet him in person. And I believe that he would even be telling us more about himself than we could just read. So, Mr. Gabriel, good to have you on this episode of the Story of the Enterprise podcast. Thank you for coming. We'd just like you to tell us a bit more about yourself, what is not in the paper. Just something fun about you as we hear your voice for the first time on this podcast.
All right, thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to be here, and I also want to really appreciate the privilege from Visible Network for considering me as a mentor, and also making me to be here on this podcast. So my name is basically Benga Gabriel Ajibola, and I don't know how best to describe myself, but I think the best way I would say is that I am a project manager, and I basically apply project management into everything I get to do. My work spans across construction, furniture, and I do a bit of social works, majorly targeted towards human development in terms of developing people, making them to acquire skills, which is actually one of the core values of Visible Network. And I'm also a Christian and dedicated to doing God's work. So that's basically, then I'm married with two wonderful children. All right, thank you very much.
Great, great. Yeah, powerful. I think you really did a comprehensive one there. I've told us many sides of yourself, and it's interesting to know. But of course, just like you know, the podcast pretty much focuses on career and work and all of that. And that's where we are going to really dive into. When you were introducing yourself, you re-emphasized again that you are a project manager. I know that's one buzzword that has come around. A lot of people like to pride themselves as project managers. And I do agree to the fact that probably everybody should actually be one. But I just wanted to know what if somebody is looking at becoming a project manager, what do you think would be the qualifications for that? Is it a certificate? Is it the experience? Which one do you have? How did you get on that road, and how do you come about that particular role of project manager?
All right, thank you very much. So to answer that question, the truth of the matter is there's a lot of misconception and myth around the buzzword project manager, and it's because of the hype of it. But basically, everybody is a project manager. It just depends on how you see it. Of course, there are now certifications and formal learning that now certify on you as a certified project manager. But
Qualifications and
everybody
yeah,
actually practices project
yeah.
management, and it starts from how you manage yourself,
I agree. I agree.
how you manage your life, how you manage little tasks that you want to do. For instance, if you wake up early in the morning and the first thing you do is to set goals for yourself for that particular day, and you say, okay, as I wake up this morning, I'm going to do my quiet time. I'm going to finish the project. Maybe you are writing an article. I'm going to finish that article before the end of the day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. There are three things that are already involved. Number one is that you have a scope of what you want to achieve for that day. Number two is that you already put a time lag to it. And the other one is that there is a satisfaction which is equivalent to the what I would put as cost. That what is going to be the benefit of when I eventually achieve this task? What is going to be the benefit to me? So and those are the motivations behind all projects. So basically projects are tied around the scope, the time, and the cost. So when you are doing all of these things as daily practice, you're already practicing project management with or without you knowing. But of course, there is not the formal aspect of it that involves you going to a formal place to learn more about it in a structured way and also to get certified. So the myth here is that you are already practicing project management, but you might not have a formal knowledge of the methodology involved in managing a more bigger complex project. But your life, if you are doing these things I said, you are already putting project management in use, in practice in your life. I hope that answers the question, sir.
Yeah, 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 it does, and I can't agree less. I agree with the fact that everybody practices project management, but just to get people on the proper road, do you like to tell us your background, academic background? What did you study in school? Was it project management or something else? And then tie it up with your first job. How did you feel like when you got on your first job? Did you also practice internship and all of that? So take us from your academic background up until when you started out working. How was that journey?
Because of my educational background in building, it's already positioned me as a project manager,
Yeah.
because building is a larger scale of project.
Yes.
So and then there's no way you are going to study construction inclined courses without taking project management
Yeah.
courses. So those were what exposed me to the project management
Mm.
field. And my very first role was even while I was in school.
Okay.
We used to have an internship program we do for 3 months in 300 level. We call it SWEP instead of CWES that we do in 400 level. So we have another one that we do for 3 months in 300 level. So while we were doing that, I stayed back in school. There was some construction project that was going on um, in school then. So I just walked up to the owner of the company and told him that we have this 3 month training that we are doing and I would like to volunteer for. So that was how I got my very first opportunity of my very first shot at managing a construction project. So they just gave me that leverage. And the reason why they did that was because prior to that time, I had gone through some skilling process and I learned bricklaying even before entering school. So I had already been conversant with construction methodology and the like. So it was easy for them to just give me the opportunity of managing an aspect of the project. So that particular phase of my life gave me some level of balance to know how to, it gave me further exposure because before I was only concerned about facing what concerns me. But as I took up that role, I had to interact with other people. I had to ensure that they do what is required and all of that. So that further exposed me to a lot of other things I didn't know. So those were my first shots at project management or at managing projects. And when I eventually graduated and finished, I didn't get a project management role directly. The very first role I got was a teaching role. I had to teach, but of course, if you already have that how will I put it, habit in you, habit of managing yourself, managing everything around you, it will also reflect in the way you handle any other task that comes. So I had to also still apply that same skill that I already have into the teaching work. And eventually, it was after the teaching work I got to apply to another company, furniture company, that got to pick me, and I got to start working with them again as a project manager, managing their construction projects. And eventually, um, before I moved on from that company, I started mine. So those were my shots at project management so far.
Wow. So I mean that must have been a very interesting journey. Because one thing that we try to address in the internship program is the fact that there's a phenomenon of unemployment in our country where a normal graduate is struggling to get him or herself engaged. But in your story, while you were still in school, you were already involved in different things that got you really engaged. And that's something commendable. And I believe that people can begin to see that indeed there are opportunities that we can plug in without depending. I would say that your story looks like creating an opportunity, not looking for one, right? Because you said you walked up to somebody and then you were able to tell them right what you could do. You also have some skills already that made it very possible for them to engage you. Do you understand? So that's something that I think I took from there. But let's go because this particular podcast is focused on the enterprise. So tell us about your first attempt at starting something.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think to really understand the journey and where I started from, um, there will be stories I will have to say around it because it's a funny story, but it's also an interesting story to hear. And each time I say it, it always brings back some
All
memories
right.
into my head. So pardon me to say this, that my very first shot in the company, the furniture company I just made mention of, when I said that after teaching, I applied to another company and they gave me a project manager job and I started managing their project. So that company was a furniture company, but they also do construction. So whenever they don't have constructions, I go back to their workshop where they produce furniture, and I sit there. And for me, sitting down wasn't really comfortable for me. So what I do is, instead of sitting down in the office, I go to the back of the workshop and I help them out with everything they are doing, with the cutting, with taping the edges of board. I was just doing it not because I wanted to start up something. I was doing it because I didn't want to sit down. And I did it consistently, to the fact that, to the extent that the other employees that were employed together were that were supposed to be administrative staffs, they were making jest of me that why am I behaving like a laborer. So, but I didn't even take it to heart. Me, I was just doing it from a pure and sincere heart, that I just wanted to help out since they have much workload. So fast forward to when I eventually left the company. So when I left the company, I wasn't still thinking in that direction. And I don't know, for whatever reason, there was just this day I was just thinking, and I was thinking within me, okay, no, there was a podcast like this that I listened to, and the person was saying, you must look inward and look at what you have. Because what you have, God has already deposited it inside of you and is available for you to make. You can make something out of it. So I was trying to analyze what it is I have, and I discovered that I can actually make furniture. I was doubting myself, but I gave it a bold step. I told somebody I was going to make a stood for him. You know this stood. I have a picture of that stood in my phone. Anytime I look at it, I used to laugh at myself that am I the one that made this stood? Because it was looking very shabby, and the person was praising
As
me.
your first
And
work
she
product.
told me that, yeah, thank you. How much did I make this stood? I
Wow.
made it for 2,000 naira. That was how custom construct was bettered. Yes. So I'm saying this to say this, that wherever you find yourself, the just take initiative of learning what it is you can learn while you are there. You never can tell the opportunities that will come out from the seemingly simple thing that you are trying to do as at the time you are in that place. And it can happen in any place. It can happen whether you are teaching, it can happen in a cosmetic business, it can happen anywhere. You will never know the power that resides in you just giving yourself wholeheartedly to a particular work that you are doing at that particular time, that will eventually accumulate into something big for you. So that's the way I started. And so when I eventually started out, um, the temptation of let's go and look for funding was there, but I didn't succumb to it. And the reason why I didn't succumb to it was because prior to that time, my boss had fed me with stories of how a lot of furniture people, police are chasing after them because they collected money from people and they didn't do their job. So I didn't want to participate in that kind of drama. So I would want to do the job so that you will see it and come and buy it. Or you will be somebody that already knows me and understand my integrity, and you'll be willing to give money so that I will do the job for you and then you come and carry it. So it helped me because for a very long time, even up to date, we have not relied on funding to push the business, and the business is moving. So this myth of always wanting to look for capital before you start is good. Capital is good. I'm not going to deliberate capital. But the reason why we are entrepreneurs is because we are supposed to be able to raise capital. Let me re-emphasize again. Capital is good. It's good to raise capital. But the reason why you are in that space is because you are supposed to raise capital and start it. So when you have started it and it's already moving, that is when you now require external capital to scale it. Not that you need capital before you start. The capital you need to start is your willingness and your readiness. That is enough capital. And once you start, you can always now get other capitals that you need to scale up. So that's basically my story.
Wow, that's an interesting one, and I mean the fact that um, it gives anybody who is willing to start an impetus, like an encouragement, because like you rightly said, once we hear business or getting into entrepreneurship, many people are thinking first about I need to raise funds, right? I need to have some millions. But you have said that it's more of the willingness and many other things will fall in line. And one thing I is it so does it mean because this is the narrative that I've been a part of over time that many entrepreneurs probably didn't actually set out to become one in the real sense. And from your story, it appears that it's confirming that. So can you say about the intentionality of going into business versus someone like you that you were not really keen on that, you were just looking at engaging yourself and then that was how you saw the opportunity that started you on. Which do you think is better? Wanting to like being intentional about it, or let me just go about my business and if chance comes, I have an opportunity, I see an opportunity, I take it. Which one do you think will be a better route at getting into it?
Okay, so let me be discreet about this, but this is what I'm going to say. Um, like I've had, they says some people are looking for opportunity, but opportunity are looking for some people. Now, the people that are looking for opportunity are being intentional about it. But the people opportunity are looking for, you might need to ask them that where did they start from and how did they come to that point where opportunity is looking for them. Because sometimes when entrepreneurs who are more established, when they give their story, they don't always talk from the angle of where they started from. They talk from the angle of where they are.
Yeah,
And because of that, it
yeah,
gives a lot of misconception to people who are listening to them. So you don't know, somebody will just come and say, no, me, I don't look for opportunities. Opportunities is always looking for me. But he will not tell you how he started before opportunity started looking for him. So one thing I want to say is that
yeah,
there is need to be intentional about anything you are doing. Yes, for me, I have it in mind that
yeah.
one day I am going to be a boss of myself. Even though I wasn't thinking in furniture, I was thinking in construction. And so me pouring out myself, going to the workshop, doing everything I was doing, it's just me trying to be intentional about knowing more about this. Even though I wasn't thinking I was going to start one, but I was thinking I was going to start one, but maybe not in that line. But when the opportunity came that you can actually do something like this now, it wasn't difficult for me because I had already exposed
Yeah.
myself to it.
To
So you must
find
balance the
balance.
two.
Yeah.
Before opportunity will look for you, you need to be intentional about the opportunity that comes around you. So I think that's the perspective I'm going to give to that.
Yeah, that's quite spot on. So I just wanted you to now give us practical steps because our interns are taught to create rather than look, which is corroborating what you just said. So can you just give maybe one or two practical ways an intern can create an opportunity or a role for themselves within their career or a particular organization that they might be admiring to work in? What practical way can they take? Maybe one or two.
All right, thank you very much. So um, I think the practical way I will say is that there is need for preparation on the part of the intern. So this is what I'm going to say to this is what I mean by preparation. Now, as you come in, you are going to be attached to different people, different companies to go and intel with them. One of the things that I will advise, which is practical, that you should do is have a predetermined goal of what I want to achieve from this internship. You might need to write it down and say, okay, this is what I want to achieve by the time I am done with this. Now, opportunities that will show itself is seen in the mindset with which you approach the internship. You know, some people, when they see internship like this, they just register because maybe because they don't want to sit in the house, some maybe because they just want to be occupied doing something. Some are not really intentional about, I think I need to learn a skill, or I think I need to help somebody because I know in helping one person I will also be helped. So there are a lot of dynamics around it. But whichever dynamics you find yourself, or whichever category you find yourself, the thing is the mindset with which you approach the work matters. So if you approach it with the mindset that I don't care whatever the company is doing, I will not participate. I'm just here to come and learn, and what I'm just going to learn is I will learn and go. Fine, it's good to go and learn and go. But what you should do is, can you pour yourself and give yourself to the work? In giving yourself to the work, you will realize a lot of things that you will not know. Now, one of the things I learned while I was working with my boss was because there were times that we worked till late in the night. In fact, there was one particular time he dropped me at the junction of my house as 12 a.m. We went to deliver something. Now, after that time, he now told me something. He told me some secrets. In fact, the story I told you initially when I was telling you that, yeah, he had fed me with the story that people are pursuing some furniture people. It was as a result of working closely with him, and he saw that this guy is ready to do what I asked him to do. This guy is ready to work. So what happens is opportunity will present themselves with the mindset you use in approaching it. So if, for instance, you come to me and I see that this person is ready to learn, there are some secrets to this job that I have discovered over the years that I will give it to you in 1 minute. That if you are to come, or if you are to start it yourself, it will take a long while for you to enter, for you to discover it. So when you are intentional about the whole process and you give yourself to work, and when I'm saying giving yourself to work, I mean just don't be overly withdrawn from the whole process and trying to say, it's their work, I can't kill myself. Bro, you have to kill yourself to resurrect.
I just wanted to confirm this idea I'm getting from your story, that does it mean that it's critical? Do you think that it's important that anybody considering entrepreneurship or thinking of starting a business needs to have a journey of being mentored or following somebody and learning from the experience? Because your story has all of that when you were telling us.
Okay, yes, yes. We know a particular figure in our country, a particular man in our country that is now a multi-billionaire. And this story that I just shared, maybe he has something similar to it. We all know Dr. Maduka, Chris Maduka.
Concerning,
Yes, we know that he
ah,
had to go and learn
concerning,
under
I was
somebody,
just
he
going to
stayed under somebody, he was mentored under the
say,
person, and even till now, he still have people around him that mentors him, that puts him through in something. So in this era or in this business space, it is more of an interdependent um, um, setting. So you cannot, it's not a system where you say I am dependent on my own, I don't have, nobody is tutoring me, nobody is doing me, I can watch YouTube videos. YouTube videos are good, but they are not real time experience, because YouTube will limit the person who is doing the YouTube will limit the content of what he wants to give out. That's just the truth.
True.
Of course, they will give
True.
you
True.
information, and
Yeah.
in this era when we have information overload, be careful of the information you're exposing yourself to. So I would want to confirm, and I am confirming it is important that you stay under tutelage. Even the Bible confirms that you stay under tutelage and governance
Mm.
until the child is mature to come into the full
Yeah.
inheritance of
Until
what
I
the Father
learn
has for
to.
him. Ehen.
Somebody who is considering starting a business or that is considering getting into entrepreneurship, okay, he's good at his craft. He has a good competence in his skill area, but he's not good at talking about his business or his ideas. He's not bold at pitching, and he's not somebody that is all going. And he has an idea that business will involve that. So, what do you think you advise that person? That's the question.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I get the question now. So, one advice that I usually give is that you must people must understand that when it comes to business, it's even more difficult than getting a paid employment. And what I mean by more difficult is because most people, the reason why they start out business is because they don't want a boss that will boss them around. They don't want to they want to come to work anytime they feel like coming to work, maybe because of the benefits that is attached. But the opposite side is actually what plays out. You spend more hours. If you are the owner of your business, your customers will actually boss you around. So if I'm to give advice to such a person, I would say he has a skill, but the skill is not the most important thing in business. I have learnt that again and again and again. The most important thing in business is communication, and since he doesn't have it, my advice would be that he should either improve on how he can better communicate. Because when you made mention of the fact that he cannot pitch his business, cannot pitch his ideas and all of that, so that's basically a communication issue. So if it is for him to brace up himself in that aspect of learning how to communicate better, and if it involves him attaching himself with one or two other persons that can brush him up in that area of communication, that could better help him to be better positioned. So I think my advice would be that he should improve his communication skills, even though he has skills for the business, but he should understand that the skill alone is not what keeps people in business. You can have skill, you can
Wow.
be the best person, and nobody will patronize you. And somebody else who does not even know how to do the work very well, he will have endless flow of customers. The difference between both of them is actually how they communicate their value. So he might need to be under somebody that can help him better communicate, or get a partner that is skillful in communication, and give the partner the opportunity of being the one in charge of communication while he manage the skill side. So this is another thing I want to say, just in addition, is that entrepreneurs should also understand that when you talk about entrepreneurship, we are not also always talking about the fact that you must be the one to stand alone, because that's another myth I see. People always wanting to just stand alone, like somebody is under somebody now, they are doing well, they are both partnering and they are doing well, but he just wants to go and start his own. It's not always about starting your own. Sometimes it is about teaming up with somebody and ensuring that you have a stake in what that person is doing, or what both of you are doing. So if I know that I am not skillful in communicating, I will have to go and look for somebody who I know is very skillful in communication, and attach myself with the person, or sell my idea to that person so that the person can be a part of what I'm doing. and delegate the communication aspect to that person, while I focus on the aspect that requires my skills, or the skill set that I know I am excellent in. So I think that's basically the advice I am going to give to that person.
Thank you. That's such a priceless advice, I would say. And thank you very much, Mr. Gwenga, for coming on this episode of the Story of the Enterprise. Your story has been very real, and you've actually shared largely how your journey has been. So I think we'll be looking at another episode where you be able to tell us more, because what you just got on is probably another side where we can look at things like different forms of entrepreneurship, partnership, sole proprietorship, and all of those other methods of entrepreneurship, so that people know that there are actually ways of expressing that side of themselves. So once again, thank you for coming, and it's been a pleasure having you in today's show. We would definitely be looking forward to have you some other time as we progress in this. So maybe as we round off, can you just give us one words from your end?
It's a pleasure and a big privilege to be
My
here.
line has been breaking, right? I've been getting indication that the network is.
You
My
said,
line has been breaking.
okay, I said it's a big privilege to be here. It's a big honor to be here, and also sharing this with our intels that are going to be coming on board, and praying and hoping that they put this advice to work in their life, because the whole essence of all of this is to have transformed lives, and to ensure that we are contributing to the economic of those who are participating, the individual who are participating. We are contributing to their economic life, because an improvement in the economic life also means an improvement in the general economy of the country. So I count it as a privilege to be a part of it, and I appreciate the opportunity that you've given me to be on this podcast. I know there are thousands of other people that you might have just placed the call through, and they will have come through. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gbenga, for your time, and definitely we invite you one more time, and maybe a couple of other times, to share your story with us. So thank you, and have a wonderful day at work. I'm sure we've taken some of your time, but
Yeah,
make
thank
the
you
most
very
of the
much.
rest of the day.